Last year on this stage, we introduced Dame Ellen MacArthur to tell her inspiring story about her realization that we live in a world of limited resources, but incredible possibilities, incredible opportunity. And about her drive to accelerate the transition from a linear economic model, one that takes resources, uses them, and then disposes of them, to one in which we can run for the long term. We can create a circular economy. At BSR, I'm lucky to work with over 100 people around the world with similar ambitions. We work with business to create a just and sustainable world, and much of what we do supports the development of a circular economy. Whether it's working with electronics companies to support circular design or use recycled materials, working with chemistry companies to support greater, more sustainable chemistry, or promoting the use of renewable energy. Much of what we do also focuses on collaboration and the development of opportunities in conjunction with multiple companies, multiple organizations. So with that in mind, we've worked with the Ellen MacArthur Foundation over the past year, more than a year, to explore opportunities where we can work together. For the past year, we've been holding joint events, including a session, a circular economy session in our Paris office, and just yesterday, a training at the BSR University. We've also conducted other trainings for BSR staff, and we've worked together to help companies identify how they can fit into a circular economy. With all of that in mind, I want to bring Dame Ellen MacArthur, the Ellen MacArthur Foundation CEO, Andrew Morley, and BSR's own CEO, Aaron Kramer, to the stage to talk a little bit more about this.
Thank you very much, Marshall. I think what might be useful is just to do a summary of what's happened in the 12 months since we were here at BSR. It's been an extraordinary time for the Foundation. In that 12 months, we've doubled the number of people who work for the Foundation. We've done a lot of research into deepening our understanding of exactly what the circular economy is. And that may sound strange from an organization that has the objective to accelerate the transition to a circular economy, but it's complex systemic change throughout the global economy. And one of the pieces of work that we've looked at in the last 12 months is called the Growth Within report. And the previous reports I mentioned a year ago were looking, as Marshall said, at the resources and the net material cost savings of shifting from a linear take, make, dispose economy to one which is more circular when you're moving from effectively extractive and consumptive to being something which is regenerative and restorative. Now, what we did this year with the Growth Within report was we went from the other side and we said, what if we take the three basic human needs, mobility, food, and the built environment? And what if we look at this digital revolution we've heard so much about already this morning? And what if we say, if we know that we can achieve so much change within the economy through the digital revolution, what if we can apply a circular lens to that? What if we can harness this energy, harness the possibility of the future that initially was impossible and now we know that we can really achieve? What if we apply a circular lens to that? What would that be worth to the global economy? And the statistics were really quite astounding. We found that we could economically double the benefit of the digital revolution through applying a circular lens to it. And so we learned a huge amount more about circular economics. We learned that ultimately it's about keeping products, components, and materials at their highest value and utility at all times. And that's not just designing a phone or a stage or a building so you can recover the materials from it, but it's keeping it full. It's using the roads to their best capacity so we don't need to build more infrastructure. And when you see companies like Airbnb that have come through the economy and in 4 years become the biggest hotel chain in the world without building any infrastructure at all, you can really see the opportunity of taking that excess out of the system, of using up that spare capacity. And that's what we looked at through the Growth Within report. And we reckon it was worth $1.8 trillion to the EU economy by 2025. And at the same time, cutting carbon emissions by 48% by that date, and by 2050, over 80%. So the statistics were really astounding. We launched that report at the European Commission, who have a circular economy package, which will be launched in the next few weeks. We also brought out a policy maker's toolkit. So if you're a region or a city, or you're trying to understand how you can become more circular, this will help you to understand how to make the choices and what choices indeed you can make to get closer to circularity. We've also this year been working much more deeply on a project called Project Mainstream, which is working with the World Economic Forum and McKinsey & Company to effectively, through one of its projects, design an economy whereby plastic packaging never becomes waste, but re-enters the economy as a defined and valuable technical or biological nutrient. Now, Project Mainstream has a series of projects running through it. It's effectively a different way of working, which enables an approach whereby you bring multiple stakeholders together to try and break some of those stalemates that you find in the global economy, those questions, those topics that are too difficult to solve on your own. One company actually can't do it. You need multiple stakeholders to try and solve those problems, and that's one of the biggest projects we've taken on to date at the Foundation. We also recently launched the Circular Economy 100 satellite network in Brazil. We now have a team down there, and that's been going phenomenally well as we gain more and more interest in circular economy from around the world. We've also announced Google as a global partner of the Foundation, which has infinite possibilities when you look at circular economics and asset tracking, the tracking of materials, the ability to use data to create this circular economy. There is massive opportunity there. And I'm really proud to announce here today in San Francisco that we've just signed H&M as another global partner, and they have a phenomenal goal, which is to look at the route the paper industry has taken from zero recycling to high rates of recycling and surpass that with the fabrics and apparel as a material, which I think is a phenomenal objective that they've set to try and turn the fabric economy into something that can cycle at higher levels than the paper economy. So the goals are really high. And in order to achieve that, we need to work more internationally and we need to collaborate with more partners. And it was wonderful to hear Marshall outlining what we've been working on over the last 18 months with BSR, and the fact that we're announcing today also a 3-year partnership with BSR to work much more closely on circular economy and really make this a reality. And I'd like to pass over to Andrew Morley, our Chief Executive, to talk a little bit more about that.
So over the past 3 years, we've seen a very rapid take-up of the idea of the circular economy in academia, in government, in companies. We work across a variety of different platforms. The C100 program that's been mentioned is an innovation platform where we bring together all of these different parties, the large corporations, small corporations, emerging innovators, academics, governments and cities, to really innovate around the ideas of how to create more systemic opportunities, systemic markets, issues that companies on their own struggle to actually make huge amounts of progress in. So the C100 program is one of the initiatives that we're bringing to the USA. We have, as Ellen said, just launched in Brazil. We're now setting up offices in California and in New York. We're going to create a C100 satellite program in the USA. And we also work within the education space. So we work with university partners in California. We work with Stanford University in Berkeley, but also MIT, Yale, with Arizona State University, Rochester University. So we're bringing together academic programs and learning programs and educational tools that we can apply into not only school systems, university systems, but into companies. So training programs that can be integrated into professional development programs. So we'll be doing initiatives on site in forums, and we're looking very much to collaborating with BSR as we do this. As has been mentioned, we've been working together so far to build some capacity locally, but we're going to ramp that up very significantly over the course of next year, and we're delighted to have the opportunity to work with Marshall, Aaron, and the team at BSR to do that. And we're looking forward to some very exponential growth in the idea in the US market.
Thank you, Andrew. And this morning has been actually fairly circular. We heard Pascal speak about the 6 Ds of disruption and the exponential change that happens. And we think that the circular economy is an idea whose time has come, and we'll see the hockey stick of growth that is so beloved in Silicon Valley, and hopefully will also suggest similar growth in circular economy principles. We heard Kia speak about how the social dimension. I think very often we think about circular economy as something that has to do with the environment, and of course it absolutely does, but it also creates a great deal of economic opportunity for people who need it the most, and Kia's work with Serum is a great example of that. We actually hadn't planned that as a prelude to circular economy thinking, but it was a perfect setup for this discussion, so thank you, Kia. I also think it's really interesting. It shows a little bit what we hope the BSR conference can be. You know, Ellen spoke last year. We sat down and chatted last year on the sidelines of the conference, and here we are a year later having worked together and being prepared, hopefully, to take a great leap forward in that. And we hope that not only for us, but for all of you, those kinds of opportunities are exactly what the BSR conference brings. Just a little bit about what we plan to do. So we're establishing circular economy as one of our core areas of expertise, and that's quite significant, as we don't choose those things lightly. And in conversations with Ellen and with Andrew, we've been very deliberate in saying that this is not quote unquote, just another aspect of sustainability. This is actually a different way to think about the conception of business, about product design, about manufacturing models, use models, the customer value proposition. It truly is very comprehensive. So conceptually, that's how we're thinking about it. Now, what are we doing? Well, we will be continuing and accelerating the production of content that will elaborate on what the circular economy means for business. We will be exploring various ways we can add to our collaborative initiatives built around circular economy, which is already infused in some of the things that we're doing, but we want to take that further. And significantly, we will be doing more one-on-one work with our member companies, which is something we've already been doing over the last year or so, breaking down these broad principles to figure out how a company actually can make this happen. We've had a couple of conversations over the last couple of years about the growing number of companies that really love the idea of circular economy principles, and it's still very much early days in terms of translating that into new business models, new processes, and helping people who don't come to the BSR conference but who design our products, figure out logistics models, et cetera. What does it mean to them? So we want to be your partner in that. We've been doing some work over the last year. We want to do more of that. I hope there's a long line trailing Marshall throughout over the next couple of days, because he'll be leading our work on this, and so I very much invite you to connect with him. The last thing I want to say, and Pascal, I absolutely loved your presentation. We are not hoovering up anyone's genomic data here today. just so you know. Although maybe there's a business partnership we could form with AXA, so maybe we'll think about that. In any event, we're delighted to be partnering with you. We hope to report back and really build some new ways of thinking that deliver that kind of exponential progress that Pascal spoke about in such an inspiring way. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much.